Welcome to another episode of Debunking Pro-Abortion Arguments. I'm your host, Lydia, spokesperson for Students for Life of America, and today I'll be addressing what exactly determines a preborn baby's value and right to life. With the biology that says life begins at conception becoming more and more widespread, pro-choicers have resorted to other, more extreme arguments to justify killing preborn humans. I hear all the time that sure, they're technically humans, but they aren't persons with value until a certain stage of development. Yes, pro-choicers have resorted to the scary logic that has been used to discriminate against people groups throughout history, that not all humans deserve equal rights. Let's delve into some of these arguments. A common argument I hear is that it's okay to kill preborn children because they can't feel pain yet. However, while this subject has been up for debate, studies show preborn children can feel pain as early as 12 weeks of pregnancy and maybe earlier. A new study titled Reconsidering Fetal Pain, published in the Journal of Medical Ethics, showed evidence that preborn babies feel pain in the early weeks of gestation. However, even at the earliest stages of pregnancy, when a child may not be able to feel pain, killing them is still wrong. There are disorders in born human beings in which their pain sensations don't exist and they can't feel pain. And I hope all of us, pro-life and pro-choice, would agree it's still equally wrong to kill those people who can't feel pain. A child's ability to feel pain does not determine their value. Another common argument is that abortion is justified because the baby isn't conscious yet. Studies show that consciousness may develop between 20 to 24 weeks of pregnancy, but some aspects of consciousness, like self-awareness, may not even fully develop until after birth. And I would hope that pro-choicers would agree that newborns at least deserve equal rights. Additionally, our expertise on consciousness is actually really poor, especially when you consider the case of Emma Murray's child. Emma Murray's preborn child was diagnosed with having no brain, or at least very little of it, and she was told he would never be conscious and likely wouldn't even live because he was missing that part of his brain that gives consciousness. However, despite not having those parts of the brain, her baby was born and by the age of 2 was able to say the word mom, demonstrating that the area of the brain experts believe controls consciousness was not accurate. Pro-choicers also make the argument that ending a preborn child's life before consciousness is just like pulling the plug on a brain-dead person. However, the reason that taking a brain-dead person off of life support is more morally acceptable is because that person has no chance at ever being conscious again. If there was a way people could gain consciousness after being brain-dead, no one would support pulling the plug then. In the same way, it would be wrong to kill a preborn child because we know they will be conscious. Their brain isn't dead, it's developing, and the brain doesn't even fully develop until around the age 25. And I would hope pro-choicers agree it's not okay to kill teenagers before their brains are fully developed. Ending the life of a preborn child is not justifiable at any stage. Next, pro-choicers commonly use viability as the standard in which they believe a preborn child has value. Currently, the youngest surviving baby outside the womb was born at 21 weeks of pregnancy. However, 100 years ago, viability was not even close to being at 21 weeks. This is because viability is not based on the baby's development, but on medical advancements. The age a child can survive outside of the womb depends on how much medical care has improved for premature babies. We cannot base human rights on what medical advancements we currently have. Additionally, the child's dependency on a mother's body to survive before viability doesn't make them worth any less. Even after birth, a preborn baby cannot survive without their mother's body for breast milk, constant care, and so on. Consider people on life support who also can't survive on their own. Do we value them any less? Of course not. A person's value does not come from their ability to survive on their own. It comes from being a human being. Last, pro-choicers argue that a child isn't valuable until birth because they're still inside the mother's body. Newsflash, there is nothing magical about the birth canal that suddenly gives the baby human rights. A child's location in or out of the womb does not determine their value. The argument that it's not valuable until it's born comes from no legitimate scientific basis. pro-choicers continue to justify abortion by using discriminatory arguments. Every human being, regardless of their size or development, deserves the right to life. Thanks for watching this episode of Debunking Pro-Abortion Arguments. If this was helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend.